These zodiac signs live and have already lived several lives. Some zodiac signs carry in themselves not just the experience of this life. Their soul keeps traces of dozens of incarnations. They have a different view, deeper, wiser. They understand what others cannot explain in words. They feel when to be silent and when to act. This is not intuition. This is knowledge that came from the past. The representatives of these signs have already lived several lives. They were a warrior, a priest, a healer, and maybe even a king. Their behavior is not an accident, but the result of accumulated wisdom. And now you will find out which signs have this deep, multi-layered soul. If it is important for you to understand whether there are imprints of past incarnations in you, watch this video to the end. Subscribe if you want to analyze not superficial horoscopes, but to receive real esoteric knowledge about yourself. And write in the comments whether you feel that you have lived before. Such feelings do not come without a reason. Next, we will reveal who is among these ancient souls. The first sign is Capricorn. No one carries so much inner age within themselves as Capricorn. Representatives of this sign live with the feeling that everything has already happened, everything is already understood, and everything that happens is a repetition. Their views are not young, even if they are young. They perceive the world from the position of an observer who has already seen the collapse and rise, betrayal and devotion, power and loneliness. This is not philosophy. This is the memory of the soul that has lived through several different realities. Capricorns do not trust the superficial. It is important for them to get to the bottom of things, to analyze, to understand the structure of things and people. This inclination to depth is a consequence not only of character, but also of the accumulated experience of past incarnations. The memory of the responsibility they bore, the positions they held, the difficult decisions on which their destinies depended, lives in them. And this is what explains their seriousness and inner discipline, which they almost never lose. These people know how to wait, because they know the value of time. They do not believe in coincidences, because they have lived a life in which they had to answer for every action. Capricorn is rarely mistaken about people. He feels their essence, as if he had already encountered a similar character in another era. He predicts action not by logic, but by inner knowledge, which does not explain, but leads. In a past incarnation, Capricorn could be a builder, a judge, a ruler, a strategist, a master. Whoever he was, he knew exactly what responsibility was, and this is what passed with him into this life. He will not take too much if he is not sure that he can hold on to it. And he will never go for the easy one. He prefers to build the path himself, albeit slowly, but accurately. This habit was formed not over the years, but over centuries. He can be dry, detached, taciturn. But behind this is learned caution. In past lives, Capricorn paid for trust. He was betrayed, deceived, torn off his pedestal. And now he is careful. He checks, he observes, and only then makes decisions. This is not fear, this is wisdom. Representatives of the sign often face trials already in their youth. Not because it turned out that way, but because the soul of Capricorn attracts challenges that it already knows how to overcome. He does not complain, he acts. His maturity is not external, it is internal. He may not show it, but he knows exactly what he needs. He does not rush about, he goes. Capricorn has no illusions about people or life. He knows everything can change at any second. Therefore, he builds a foundation, precisely, consistently, clearly. And he does it as if he had already done it before, because he did, and more than once. The second sign is Virgo. Inside Virgo lives the systemic memory of the soul that has gone through many earthly cycles. Her attention to detail is not a whim, but the result of accumulated experience. She feels the rhythms of reality, as if she knows how the invisible mechanism of the world works. In any situation, she sees not only the surface, but also the structure. And this is not intuition. It is a skill reinforced in previous lives. Virgo does not take words for granted. She looks for evidence, facts, formulas. This is not because she does not trust. It is because she has already encountered deception too many times. Traces of the eras in which she was a scientist, healer, scribe, analyst remain in her memory. She is used to working with truth as a material and not as an emotion. And in this life, she continues to take the world apart in order to reassemble it in her own way. Her accuracy is the result of many attempts. She remembers mistakes, even if she does not realize it. That is why she strives to control everything, to predict, to provide for. Not because she is afraid, but because she once failed to foresee and paid a high price for it. Now she does not allow herself to miss. Among all the signs, it is Virgo who accumulates knowledge of reality in its smallest manifestations. She can remember the smells, sounds, vibrations of situations that happened to her in other lives. This manifests itself in reactions, in feelings of déjà vu, in the ability to find answers where everyone else is lost. She does not show it openly, she just acts. Her wisdom is not ostentatious. She knows when to speak and when to be silent. In past incarnations, Virgo learned to be an observer, and now she does not rush into the spotlight. She is not interested in the stage. She is interested in the essence. And if someone underestimates Virgo, he is faced with the fact that she knows many times more than it seems. Because this knowledge did not come from books, but from previously lived lives. Virgo can be strict with herself and others. But this is the result of an internal code formed over centuries. Her desire for perfection is not a desire for an ideal, but a habit of order. She knows chaos destroys, and order saves. This is not a theory. This is a practice that she repeats from life to life. Her calm in a crisis is also not an accident. She has already seen how systems collapse, how civilizations disappear, how values are lost. She has already been through this, and therefore she is not afraid now. She remains collected when others lose their bearing, because she knows everything repeats itself, and you just need to know how to act. The third sign is Libra. Libras have a rare internal memory that cannot be explained rationally. They live with the feeling that they have already been in these situations, have already made these choices, have already felt this dilemma. Their desire for balance is not a character trait, but a consequence of a long journey in which their soul has repeatedly encountered extremes. Libras remember what happens when you choose the wrong thing. That is why they always try to weigh everything so as not to repeat the mistakes made in previous lives. Their innate sense of justice is the result of life experience accumulated through the roles of judges, peacemakers, mediators. Libras cannot stand injustice because they have already witnessed what it leads to. Their soul carries within itself the experience of negotiations, diplomacy, the ability to listen and speak so that others hear. They do not press, they convince. And they do this set with that subtle confidence that comes only after many repetitions. Libras see the structure of choice. They understand how each step affects the future. They do not need to live through a situation to feel its consequences. They read the script in the moment. Their indecision is not weakness, but caution, because they remember every choice leaves a mark, not only in life, but also in the soul. And this is serious. In past incarnations, Libras often faced the need to choose between duty and feelings, between profit and honesty. These moral tests have been deposited in their souls, and now they try to avoid categoricalness. It is important for them to be on the side of truth, even if it is inconvenient. Their respect for harmony is not idealism, but the result of experience, where imbalance brought destruction. Libras sense people on an energetic level. They may not know the details, but they always catch the tone. One intonation is enough for them to understand what the interlocutor is hiding. They instantly feel who is playing, who is lying, who is using a mask. This is not empathy, but the vision of the soul, trained through dozens of reincarnations. They will not say it directly, but they will remember. Their politeness and diplomacy are not just upbringing. This is a protective shell developed in response to past conflicts. Libras have already been participants in wars, disputes, breakups. Now they choose soft power, and this power is no less than that of those who shout. They just know that softness is a weapon that works differently. Libras do not seek power, but almost always find themselves in situations where a lot depends on their decision. And this is not a coincidence. This is a continuation of a path that began long ago. Their soul knows how to be a judge, and if they are silent, it means they simply have not yet made a verdict. The fourth sign is Cancer. This person has always had something in his character that is difficult to explain with logic. He often feels someone else's pain, even before it is voiced. He is able to understand emotions without words, anticipate actions, sense the approach of events. In his eyes are echoes of other eras, and in his actions is a maturity that does not correspond to either age or experience. All these are signs of lived lives, and Cancer really carries the memory of more than one omniscient existence. He lives here and now, but does so with the accumulated baggage of mental traces, emotions, decisions that were once made in other times. Surprisingly, Cancer is almost never wrong when it comes to people. He may not know the details, but he feels the essence. Sometimes it seems to him that he has already met this person. It seems to be the first meeting, but the feelings is as if there is an invisible history between them. Such coincidences are not accidental. They say that Cancer has gone through more than one reincarnation, and the souls that he encounters, in this life, have already been with him in other lives. That is why it is so difficult for him to let go. He is familiar with the pain of separation, accumulated over centuries. He has a strong connection with water, and this is not a metaphor. Water literally heals his body and mind, as if returning him to the source. He can live for years near the sea, river, or lake, and not understand that he is drawn there on an instinctive level. This is not just a habit or an aesthetic attraction. This is the call of past incarnations in which water played an important role. Perhaps he was a sailor, a healer who lived by the source, a fisherman who drowned in a storm or was saved from death by the elements. His soul remembers these images, and therefore cannot tear himself away from water. Cancer has a special relationship with memories. He can remember things that never happened to him, dreams that resemble films, fragments of scenes where he is not himself. But at the same time, he is. These images emerge in moments of weakness, loneliness, during illness, or strong emotional experiences. He does not invent them. This is a response from internal memory. The brain cannot explain these visions, but the soul remembers, because it has already lived in other bodies, in other countries, under other circumstances. Cancer instinctively protects itself. It is as if it is afraid that everything can end suddenly. This anxiety is not an obsessive fantasy, but an experience lived through in past lives. His soul knows what it is like to lose a home, loved ones, everything that is valuable. Therefore, in this life, he builds a fortress, in relationships, in everyday life, in emotions. He does not let people too close until he is sure that they are safe, and if he trusts, he gives himself entirely. But betrayal is remembered forever, because it clings not only to this life, but to the traces left in previous incarnations. He often feels older than his years. Even in childhood, Cancer can show wisdom, unchildlike experiences, and deep thought sets. In adulthood, he becomes a quiet observer who does not need recognition, because inside him is the absolute certainty that everything has already happened. He knows the value of time, and therefore knows how to wait. He knows how to remain silent when others argue. He knows how to leave when he is not appreciated. This is not a strategy. It is an understanding developed in other lives that everything comes back, and everything has its price. Cancer women especially feel this multi-layered existence. They have dreams in which they wear other people's faces, live in unfamiliar houses, speak unknown languages. Their memory is finely tuned. They can feel that the child they gave birth to has already been with them before, that the man they love has already been there. And when they lose someone, they feel that it is not the first time they say goodbye. The whole truth of past incarnation lives in their intuition, and this is not mysticism, but a deep, multi-life memory, hidden in their every look, word, and decision. The fifth sign is Sagittarius. This person has a unique quality. He always strives forward, even if he does not know where he is going. He is drawn to new cities, countries, cultures, as if he is looking for something that he has already seen. This search is not just a thirst for adventure. It is the craving of the soul that remembers past lives. Sagittarius has already been to other corners of the planet, spoke other languages, wore different clothes. He does not always realize this, but when he gets to a place where he already lived in a past incarnation, he is overcome by a strange feeling, as if he has returned home. From a very early age, Sagittarius shows an interest in philosophy, stories, ideas that lie beyond the visible. He asks questions that are not typical for his age, and the more he learns, the more he awakens in himself the feeling that he already knows much of what he has heard. Sometimes he can finish a person's thought, read the essence of a book before the middle, guess the essence of events in advance. His perception of the world is not the result of education or upbringing. This is the work of the accumulated experience of many lives, which have formed in him a wisdom that is not subject to time. He is often intransigent. He cannot calmly look at lies, injustice, substitution of concepts. He feels that he has already encountered this in other eras, and is no longer ready to be a silent witness. This makes him straightforward, sometimes tough. He defends his truth not because he wants to win, but because inside him lives the memory of the struggle that he has waged more than once, for freedom, for justice, for truth. His soul is not a newcomer to these issues, and therefore reacts sharply, instantly. There are moments when Sagittarius has unusual dreams. He walks along ancient streets, talks to people whom he has never seen, but knows their voices for sure. He participates in events that did not happen in this life. These dreams are not fantasy, but flashes of memory. His soul opens windows into previous existences, and sometimes even gives answers to current questions through images from the past. He wakes up with the feeling that he has understood something important that is needed now, here. It is these moments that become turning points in his destiny. Sagittarius often faces misunderstanding from others. He is told that he is too abrupt, too direct, too active. But he cannot be changed. He carries the energy of many lives, and he has no time for slowness. He knows how quickly everything can change. His inner energy is the result of constant reincarnations in which he sought the truth, improved, lost, and found. He cannot stand still because his soul is accustomed to the path. Peace is not his nature. Sagittarius men especially clearly feel the warrior spirit in themselves. This is not aggression, but internal discipline, the ability to act quickly and decisively. In the past, he could have been a commander, a teacher, a traveler, a warrior of light. His actions in this life are often conditioned by the fact that he has already lived battles, physical, ideological, internal. He is not afraid of risk, because he has already been through death. He is not afraid of loneliness, because he knows how expensive betrayal can be. He moves forward, but even if he does not see the road, because he knows the way will be found. You just have to take the first step.